Good afternoon, and you're very welcome to Newcastle West for this afternoon's TG4 All-Ireland Junior Ladies Championship. It is the round 3 meeting in Group A between Limerick and Down. Two sides already guaranteed a place in the knockout stages. Throw-in is at 1 p.m. My own name is Tom Clancy. I'll be guiding you through this contest over the next hour, an hour and 20 or so, as these two sides look to cement their place at the top of the table, which is currently occupied by Down on scoring difference. Limerick ladies legend Dim O'Brien is alongside me. We'll come to Dim in a moment, but first we'll take a look at the sides. Both sides have made a number of late changes to their side, which will be interesting to see how those goes. Limerick are gone into the dressing room, but they will coming out over to our right hand side to a guard of honour from 4 local ladies clubs, the underage stars. They're welcoming their senior stars here in a couple of moments. So the Limerick side shows Number 1, Carol Bateman in goals. A full back line now consisting of Maeve McNamara, Yvonne Lee and Alva Quaid. That sees Fiona Bradshaw of Ula miss out. The half back line, Grace Lee, Laura Walsh and Lauren Ryan. Roisin Ambrose captains the sides from midfield, and she is joined now by number 30, Andrea O'Sullivan. Deborah Murphy, Cathy Mee and Iris Kennelly, the half forward lines, while Leah Coughlin, Amy Ryan and Karen O'Leary make up a potent inside forward line. So 2 late changes made by manager Graham Shine for this one. Meanwhile, well, there is the Limerick side emerging from the tunnel and the Guard of Honour from their sides, from their young supporters. The downside, on the other hand, have made 3 late changes for this one. They go with Amy McGivern in goal. Number 28 is Amy Green. She's at corner back in place of Paige Smith. Ciara Byrne is the full back, Orla Boyle the left corner back. The half back line of Natalie McGibbon, Megan Doherty is captain and Orla Dufferty is the left half back. Aoife Laverty and Aoife Keown are the midfield partners. Niamh Scullion, Vivian McCormack and Leisha Duffy the half forward line. The full forward line shows 2 changes, with number 17 Amy O'Higgins in one corner, Natasha Ferris at the edge of the square, while the lineup is completed by Orla Swale with Emer Fitzpatrick and Niamh King to miss out. First of all, Dimna, good afternoon to you. How are things?
Hi Tom, how are you?
Great now indeed. We're going to pause momentarily, I think, for a moment's silence. So they're just waiting on that as the sides are being called out. But both sides in unison, as we have seen over the last few weeks. United for Equality t-shirts being worn by virtually all of the players. So we will probably have a delay afterwards as the sides enter into the dressing rooms to change their jerseys. So we'll come to Dimpney in a second, but we're just going to pause in a moment for a minute's silence. That is in memory of Bernadette O'Doherty, a lady here who lived in Newcastle West and has strong connections to the Newcastle West club. Dimpney, before we come to that, what are we expecting from this game this afternoon?
Yeah, Tom, I think it'll be a really good contest. I suppose when you look at paper and you look at Limerick, they probably have had come out of round 2 versus Sligo, which was a very difficult match for them.
Sorry, I just cut across you there, Dimpney. Now we're just going to pause for that minute silence I meant for Bernadette. As I said, strong connections to Newcastle West here. She sadly passed away earlier this week. We pause now for that minute silence. And we'll now pause for our own Naveen. Both sides heading for the dressing room to change into their jerseys, remove those shirts that say United for Equality as the protests continue across Camogie and ladies football. Dimna, we go back to the action. You were mentioning Limerick win over Sligo last week. Both sides emphatically took care of Kilkenny. That was probably a foregone conclusion with no disrespect meant to Kilkenny, but they both managed tight wins over Sligo, so this sets up a nice clash for decide who goes top of the table.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, both teams have actually qualified, so really this is about who's going to top the table. But again, look, I think the match last weekend will probably stand to Limerick a lot more than Down's game versus Kilkenny. But again, look, on paper, I think Limerick are coming here today with a really, really strong team. Again, Down will come with a lot of physicality today, but I think Limerick have the players probably to curtail the likes of Vivian McCormack, Natasha Ferris, who has today scored 6-14 in the championship. And again, Vivian McCormack has scored 4-3. But again, look, I suppose Limerick, what they have been getting this year, where they haven't been getting in the last few years, is probably goals. And again, 2-7 last week, and I think it was the goal that got him over the line.
Yeah, you mentioned the 2-7 last week. Two of those coming from a former teammate of yours, Cathy Mee. She's obviously one of the most experienced players in the side, but I suppose experience in knowing how to take her score. She took 2 fine goals here last week. I think she got another 2 against Kilkenny, and she's also chipping in with a couple of points as well. So she's really, really playing well in that centre forward position. Yeah,
and again, last week a lot of, if Down were watching this match last weekend, I suppose if you were to curtail Limerick, you would be looking at Cathy at centre forward and Karen O'Leary, who is named a corner forward, but will drop. I suppose she'll drop out around the middle of the field, and a lot of ball does go through those girls. So I think if Down have their homework done and they were to curtail Limerick today, I think they'd probably be looking at Cathy and Karen, who played exceptionally well last week.
Yeah, Karen is a tremendous carrier of the ball. There's a good chance that maybe she'll play further out, as you say. Andrea Sullivan will probably play maybe half forward line or maybe closer to goal. But Limerick's attack, it is a lively one. There's plenty of threats there. Amy Ryan, no stranger to getting a goal or two in her time as well. Deborah Murphy and Karen O'Leary, they are two players, I suppose, they play at midfield at club level with Mona Gay. Two players who really link well together. And I suppose it's important for Limerick that they have players, that are very familiar with each other in the attacking positions. Yeah, and a good few of these girls were with Limerick last year, so I think they're probably more familiar with playing with each other. But again, look, Iris Kennelly is a newcomer to the team this week from last week, and Iris, as we know, has plenty of ability and is a real danger in the forwards. Deborah, again, plays very much like Karen, a great carrier of the ball, and again, I think if she plays really well today, Limerick will come away with a win. Yeah, the other games in this competition, yesterday we saw a victory for Sligo over Kilkenny, 7-19 to 1-5. Sligo finishing with a bit of pride and moving themselves to third in the table to finish off their group campaign. Kilkenny rock bottom after 3 successive defeats. In Group B of this championship, which these two sides will eventually face off it in the semi-final stages, Cavan face London. That's at 2 p.m. The winner will advance in second place, so the winner of that game will play the winner of this game. Derry will host Fermanagh, that at 5, with Fermanagh already guaranteed top place in Group B. Fermanagh, just to touch on them briefly, Fermanagh in two All-Ireland finals in the last 3 years. They're very, very strong. Is that the incentive for these sides today, to avoid Fermanagh in a semi-final? That's nothing to say against Carlow or London, but you kind of feel that Fermanagh are probably the strongest side in this grade, and maybe the only time you want to play them is in a final. Yeah, absolutely. If I was Graham Shine or Cuevas Sloan, I'd definitely be trying to avoid Fermanagh. They're a really good side, really physical, and I think they'd be both definitely trying to avoid them. Yeah, the referee for this afternoon's game is, I'm sure I have it on my notes here somewhere, it's Paul McCockney he's from Westmeath. He's doing some fine soloing over there on the far side, as you see. He's waiting Limerick's return from the dressing room as these sides look to do battle and indeed, as they top the table. A draw will be enough for Down. They put up an impressive total last week against Kilkenny in Park Esler at home. 13 goals and 14 points to just 4 points from the Cats. 1-13 to 2-5 was their first day out, and a away win against Sligo. Those two sides had come down from the intermediate ranks, and you can just see Cueva Sloan in the middle of the United down team there, given the final instructions. I think while there's no fear of these sides being knocked out today, I can definitely sense that there's a real bit of desire to make it 3 from 3, keep the momentum up, get to the semi-final, and take their chances against Carlow or London. So we still await Limerick, who I hope Dimna haven't decided to phone it in, but they'll join us. You've won this grade twice. We were just mentioning that there off air a couple of minutes ago. What does it take, I suppose, this time of year to get yourself through the knockout phases, which is to come for these sides?
I suppose, this is where it starts. It's, you want to be driving on. They've 2 games under their belt, and again, I suppose they just seem to be getting better, and we saw that yesterday with the Limerick hurlers. Again, they just have to be ruthless, I suppose, and really go after this. And when they get in front of goals, I suppose either of the 2 teams, they need to be ruthless, and I think that's what it'll come down to today, is who wants it more and who's more ruthless in front of goals.
And what an incentive for these 2 sides if they can, of course, get over their semi-final. A day out in Croke Park, it's a great reward for all the endeavours, all the unseen hours. Dimna, that everyone will see these games, people will pay attention to the games, but it's the unseen hours, trekking across the county for training, doing your own bit of gym work, your own bit of recovery and rehab. That's the carrot, I suppose, for the players across the 3 grades, but particularly at junior level, where maybe the teams are a little bit underappreciated sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what everyone plays for. And again, we've a group of young ones behind us, and I'm sure that's what they're aspiring to, is to be here in Newcastle West in the green and white of Limerick and going on to represent and maybe getting that opportunity to play in Croke Park. But again, look, I'm sure everyone that's part of this Limerick team, that's where their goal is to be above in Croke Park on a lot on final day.
Yeah, Grace Lee, wearing number 5, has gone straight into midfield, and she joins Roisin Ambrose. We'll see what way to do line up. Maybe it's just a case for the throw-in, but Limerick playing from right to left. There is a bit of a breeze which will favour down ever so slightly in this first half. There was a threat of rain here this afternoon in Newcastle West, but so far so good in terms of the sun shining on us here. And 6 or 7 minutes after the advertised start, we look to be ready to rock and roll and get underway here. It's the final group game of Group A in the TG4 Ladies Junior All-Ireland Championship. We are ready to go. Referee doing his final checks, and we have the ball up and underway, with Down winning it for the first time this afternoon, and going in towards this right hand channel as Leisha Duffy gets a hold of it, takes a solo, and does well to forage for that ball as she gives it back to Vivian McCormack. Real potent threat in attack. She gives it back now. It's towards Aoife Laverty. Good interchange of passes here for Down. They're through looking for first opening. There was a foul in there from a Limerick player. I think it's just a clip of the heel, says referee, and we're going to have the first real opening for Down here, and a shot at the Limerick post. So a couple of positional switches, maybe Dimna will try and pick them up as we go. Unsurprisingly, looks like Karen O'Leary is one of them from a Limerick point of view, playing a little bit further out the field.
Yeah, we see Iris has moved into the corner.
As the free taken, and the free slotted straight over the bar by Natasha Ferris. Makes no mistake with that one, and inside a minute or so, the visitors are into the lead. Limerick through Margaret St. Paul's. Carol Bateman go short with the kick out, and it's well taken there and carried across now. Laura Walsh. Limerick with good hand passing so far. Probably encouraged not to take too many hops or solos in the tight areas, just move it along, and they do so to the far side. Cathy Mee just decides to let it in straight away. Mee on the return gets it, has a bit of space here now. Is Cathy Mee, can she reply in kind to the opposite they score to the opposite end? Is Limerick still had a chance? Amy Ryan just evades her. Iris Kennelly, someone on the run. It's Deborah Murphy, and just off her left foot slices it wide, a first wide for Limerick, but very good play, Dimna from Limerick, worked it up the right hand flank, played it across the goal and got the shot off that goes an early wide.
Yeah, great play through the hands, quick ball in, and again Deborah was unlucky not to get that over the bar.
Yeah, it's down. It's worked too well to come out through the middle as Roisin Ambrose with one hand and then two hands in gives away the foul, and that foul on Aoife Laverty. Down. Just get on with Limerick retreating as Orla Duffy gets a hold of it. Duffy allowed to carry it inside the 45. Duffy is involved here. There's a chance perhaps for a second down shot. This first from play. They're going to have to recycle though if they're going to have to get one off. As it's back off the left foot. Where's that going? It's gone over the bar, and that's Leisha Duffy with the second down point. And a fine left-footed effort it was too.
Yeah, great point there by Leisha Duffy. And again, you can see what Down are trying to do. They're coming out wide and then they're making runs off the ball carriers. As
the kick out is contested there, it's Leah Coughlin playing a long way from her number 13 Bert, but Limerick have it. And Coughlin gets it here again. Does well though to evade a couple of down challenges. She has to check back as she sends it back inside to centre half back Laura Walsh. Many of these players from around the town or just outside it here in West Limerick of Monaghay and Old Mill, for example, as they carry it up through. One of these is from Old Mill, that's Ambrose. She gives it to Cathy Mee. Can Limerick open their tally here? Cathy Mee bearing down and goal, gives it back to Amy Ryan. Ryan is half blocked. Back to Mee, and Mee at the second attempt gets Limerick up and running. Cathy Mee, Limerick's top scorer, adding to her growing tally and gets Limerick off the mark. Good play by Limerick. First chance was blocked, but Mee made no mistake with the second one.
Yeah, no, Cathy's as well. She's coming into the game now and she's carrying the ball really well. And I think when she comes through, they're finding Down are becoming under pressure.
Down do well again with their own kick out, carrying it away and up to the centre half forward position. All the way out here now to Amy Green, one of the late changes. Green sends it in. Down had originally named an unchanged team, but 3 changes have scuppered that plan as they come back here. Oh, it's a great block there by the full-back Yvonne Lee. She's from Newcastle West, plays with Mona Gay, and great block from her. And
yeah,
Limerick
great block for Yvonne.
Come away as there is no ladies football here in Newcastle West, but a lot of the players from this town will play with the clubs around the fringes, as I said. Limerick don't do too well with that short free as Amy Green gets it, sends it across towards captain Megan Doherty, and Down doing well as Aoife Keown gets on it. Chance of a shot is there. She's looking to jink in and it's off the right foot. Where's that going? There's a nod from the umpire because Niamh Scullion has added a third from as many shots from Down. They're looking pretty accurate up front so far, and they re-establish a 2-point buffer.
Yeah, and I can see that Deborah has actually dropped back into the backs, which leaves a free Down player in the back, which probably won't suit the Limerick girls as much.
They're going to have to carry it accurately, you'd feel, if they're a player light up top, as Deborah Murphy gets on it. I always describe her as a bit of an energizer bunny. She really covers the ground as she gives a hand pass and goes for the return, but Leah Coughlin decides to go a different route and just about gets away there and almost took too many steps. Cathy Mee looks for Ambrose. Ambrose takes it well, bouncing it left-handed, soloing right-footed into towards the challenge. What can she do? She's going to switch it across towards Amy Ryan. Ryan gathers it now. Amy Ryan is going to take her point, is she? She's going to go for a goal and she gets it. Amy Ryan dropping it in over the keeper's head, and all of a sudden Limerick are into the leads. What about that finish?
A great finish by Amy, and I suppose I would have played with Amy, and she's well able to take on the ball, and I suppose if she gets inside a player, there's only one thing on her mind, and that's a goal, but it was a well finished goal. Yeah,
as Limerick, just a shot in the arm you'd feel the need, but again Down are comfortable under their own kick out to come out and carry it as Doherty gets on it. She decides to give it to a runner off the shoulder. Limerick putting up a bit of a green wall. They're hoping to get a turnover around here as Aoife Laverty sends it in. Ball the way back out to Green. Limerick with a lot of players there, but Down go back, find a shooter, and that is their first wide of the afternoon, and that's courtesy of Amy O'Higgins. just enough pressure, I think, on the shooter there. Just kind of forced that little bit, a difficult area to be scoring from when you've 3 or 4 bodies in front of you.
Yeah, and again, look, it looks like Limerick are playing a wall of defence, and I think Down will find it hard to get inside to get any goals, but so they'll be disappointed now we're not getting that point. As
Limerick do just about enough to come away on their own kick out, as ball is carried by Karen O'Leary, sends it into Amy Ryan, 1-on-1 with her marker. She'll have the great bit of confidence after that goal a minute or so ago. Ryan solos, has to turn back. That actually suits her on her right foot. Amy Ryan, this one has the legs to go over the bar, and Amy Ryan with a quick fire 1-1 puts Limerick further ahead. Great score. Yeah, great score again by Amy, and again I think, you know, she's going to cause Down problems inside if she's left 1-on-1 with the full back. And Down again, I think they're probably 100% retention on their kick out so far. They've had 4 from my calculations as they look to reply to Amy Ryan's little burst. They have to come back here. The wall that was mentioned, but skipping through. Chance here now as Orla Swale is there, and Orla is fouled. And a chance for Ferris, I think, is going to take this one. Chance for her to stem the tide a little bit that Limerick had so expertly done with that couple of scores. Limerick just will have to watch that, because Natasha will pop these over all day if they're going to continue following in around. Well, the curse of the commentator has struck us here in Newcastle West. A player of Natasha Ferris's quality, we would indeed have fancied her from there, but she has sent it to the left and wide, so disappointing from her. But Limerick will be conscious not to give up too many opportunities to her. As Limerick come away now, Karen O'Leary is fouled. Pull back, says the referee. And well, what's he going to do? Well, Limerick have kicked it straight back out, so it's going to be a line ball to the visitors. And it's switched across here. Chance now through Leisha Duffy. Saw what she's able to do in terms of point scoring already. And pass across, and there is great full back play from Yvonne Lee, and gives it towards Deborah Murphy. And Limerick now through Roisin Ambrose can break. Ambrose across to Lauren Ryan of Adair. Gives it back to Deborah Murphy. Murphy surveying her options, not too many, so she has to go back to Karen O'Leary. And O'Leary, to me, as now Limerick look for runners inside, but there's a Down player going to win that race, I think. Yeah, indeed. The cornerback is out in front and comes away with it there. It's good play as there's a tug around the hips as the referee allows the advantage. Down switching it over to this nearest hand side. The ball now with Orla Duffy. Duffy can carry inside the 45. What does she have to do here now to work a score? She's going to take it into the tackle, gives it back out. And a chance for Laverty, you'd think, but she decides to switch it across. That's going to favour the defender. That's going to favour centre back Laura Walsh, and that's aimless stuff you'd feel from Down. And Limerick will look to counter. Cathy Mee catches, then quickly hand passes, gets it back here now. She has Roisin Ambrose to her right, not an awful lot to her left. And wisely enough, I think, just slows the tempo ever so slightly. Gives it into Amy Ryan. Seems to have the beating of her marker so far. Gives it to Iris Kennelly. She has bags of speed. Iris Kennelly catters it in, looks for the post. Off the right foot, that's going to drop short. Well caught inside there by Amy McGivern, the Down goalkeeper. And she does well to carry it away now as Orla Duffy brings it up through the 45. And she switches it across to that left wing. Healthy crowd in this afternoon. Alongside us in the stand here, the youngsters of 4 different Limerick ladies football clubs are also here. You may have heard a couple of screams from them as the opening goal went in. And again, Down met by the green and white wall as Down get another shot off. That one is going to tail, while the goalkeeper Carol Bateman opts to keep it in play and tries to restart over in that right corner. Perhaps sensibly enough keeping it in play, because the kickouts have proved a little bit tricky at times for Limerick so far. As Limerick now through Deborah Murphy, always a good carrier of the ball. What can she do here? Lovely right-footed pass straight into the clutches of Lauren Ryan, who takes 2 attempts to get her, but nevertheless can carry through the 45. No one coming towards her. Ball, or the play opening up. Oh, just spilled by Karen O'Leary. The down defence really didn't engage the Limerick win back, Lauren Ryan, and got away with that one because poor handling from the Limerick forward, as the referee puts out the arm and decides it's a free. Just a bit of I think a slip on the ankle there, but lovely ball across there by was it Deborah Murphy outside of the boot. Lovely, weighted to perfection. Really judged the wind as well, which I think the way the wind seems to be blowing is not an easy one here in Newcastle West. But Limerick unable to add to their 1-2. They have got the last 1-1, so they'll be happy enough with how things are progressing here. As it down allowed to go short with the kick out. Limerick with, let me see, 8 players more or less inside their own 45 plus the goalkeeper 9. And Down are going to have to try and find a hole in it somewhere, as Amy O'Higgins sends it across now to Aoife Laverty. Laverty with the hand pass just inside the D now is Natasha Ferris. There's an advantage coming, and very minimal contact from my own viewpoint here, but the referee says there was enough to award a free.
Yeah, and again, there's a few calls there that I questioned. He's not really letting much go, so I think both teams just have to be aware of that. Yeah,
they're just penalising, I suppose, any hands on shirts or any little nudges or pushes that he deems illegal. He's straight up with the arm, as Natasha Ferris makes amends for the earlier miss with a finally taken free, and a first score since the 5th minute for the visitors. So back to a point game as Limerick goes straight up the middle with the kick out. Doesn't work out, but well intercepted there, and a chance for Limerick now to properly escape their own rearguard as Lauren Ryan gathers, carries a couple of solos, a couple of hops in there, sends it to Karen O'Leary. This time the hands are good from O'Leary, sends it into Amy Ryan. Amy Ryan just keeps it in play, does well, gathers, coming towards the goal. She's probably one thing on her mind here. She's advantage and passes it off. The referee still had the arm up. We're going to go back for a free over towards the left wing. And again, Amy Ryan's so impressive when she gets that ball. She's very, very dangerous. She has the pace, but she also has, I suppose, that quality to go past her player. Yeah,
she's buckets of pace, and I suppose she's a strong carrier of the ball. And again, like they seem to be struggling with her when she gets on the ball. They don't really have an answer to her. So I think if Limerick can get in ball quick enough to Amy, she'll cause damage.
Yeah, she was all the way nearly in the car park when she picked that one up. She was so far over to the corner as Cathy Mee with the free. Mee just didn't catch it too well, didn't get the curl really, it just went straight off the boot, and it's a second wide for Limerick. Both sides now guilty of missing a free. It's very, very difficult to be 100% on the frees, as both free takers will attest to, but very important at this level that you do have a good free taker, and I think Cathy is normally a little bit sharper than that.
Yeah, and I think there's a little bit of a wind there as well, which probably didn't help Cathy with that free, so she'll be disappointed with that one, but I'm sure she'll well,
the referee, has just told her to go off, I think because of a gum shield not in place. Cathy Mee is now currently off the pitch on the far side. You'll see her there at the top of your screen, but nevertheless they're continuing through Aoife Laverty. It's an interesting one. She's now with the 4th official is Mee, waiting to come back in as Down look to capitalise. Carried up now through Duffy. She's looking for a second. Is that curling? It's dangerous. It comes back off the crossbar. Carol Bateman was jumping as high as she could, but it comes back off the crossbar here in Newcastle West. We saw that goal last week for one of Cathy Mee's goals was a dropping effort like that, just snuck into more or less the same part of the goal as Karen O'Leary with advantage sends it in. She's dumped unceremoniously onto the Newcastle West surface, but the referee says we're going back for the first free as Cathy Mee resumes her position, having had a bit of a break to put a gum shield in place. like so many players you see in the men and women's game, with the gum shield tucked into the sock. Not the place for it. You won't protect too many teeth down there.
No. And I think refs are starting to get more stricter on the gum shield, and probably rightly so.
Yeah, well, if it is a rule, I suppose as someone who enjoys my bit of soccer, if a player come onto a soccer pitch without a pair of shin guards, they wouldn't get too far. So it's probably a similar premise, but I suppose it's just not been in the culture of Gaelic games for so long to have gum shields. But helmets in hurling, gum shields in football, it's part of the thing. As a couple of officials, the fourth official and the linesman have a word with the referee on the far side, and the referee just taking note of something there. But
yeah, I think he shouted Tick and Karen for a little incident over there just on the halfway line.
Yeah, there was a tangling of bodies, and the down player ended up on the deck as Limerick come across to this side. They'll go all the way backwards from the free that was on the down 45, but I suppose possession sometimes more important than penetration, as they carry it now through Roisin Ambrose. Glides over the surface as ever, does Ambrose. Lovely hand pass inside. Can they work the score? Hand pass it once more. A couple of down players in there. They managed to do enough for now. Kicked high. It's going to stay in play. The keeper has got a comfort. She does very well indeed. She gathers it and then is bundled over. I think it was by Iris Kennelly. The fact it was Andrea O'Sullivan, as you see, they were in 30, a little bit too eager to try and contest that ball, as down very, very poorly turnover possession. As we said, Fermanagh, group winners on the other side, will face the losers of this one, or indeed if it's a draw they'll face Limerick. Semi-finals and finals to come in the coming weeks across the three grades, as Roisin Ambrose takes it, looking for her score. That effort leaves a lot to be desired. Disappointing one from her.
Yeah, and Roisin will be disappointed with that. And again, there was space that opened up in front of her. If she had just carried it through, I suppose she would have been a bit of a better position. Yeah,
I'm looking at the flags over to her right hand side, and seem to be picking up in terms of the velocity of them, such as I suppose the wind here, but there was nothing that the wind had done to that. It was just a poor effort, as ball is carried up the other way as Aoife Laverty gets it. She's challenged by Deborah Murphy, and straight through goes Orla Duffy off the right foot. That's a dangerous one, and that's tucked inside the post from Natasha Ferris. It looked to be maybe just heading to the right and wide, but it tucks itself nicely inside, and we are level here in Newcastle West. A fine score. Yeah,
great score there by Down, and again they are dangerous when they get inside, so again Limerick just have to make sure that they're set up properly when they attack.
Again, Limerick's kick out not 100%, and Down get on with it quickly, and here is Vivian McCormack, one of their real threats. McCormack, too many steps. She's claiming her jersey was pulled, but I think the steps was pretty obvious from here.
Yeah, good call there by the referee, and I'm sure Limerick will be delighted with that.
Yeah, she was certainly threatening a goal, if not maybe a fisted point was a good option from there, but the reason she got there was too many steps. As Limerick tried to clear their lines, they get through Alva Quaid, another one from the Old Mill Club. Quaid can get it again here. Limerick beaten in semi-finals in 2020 and indeed 2022, so they'll be looking to go one step further, and maybe this is a way to do it. Keep the momentum, win the group, and then defeat either London or Carlow in this last four. Back up at the other end, Karen O'Leary switches back. Deborah Murphy just puts a knee to it, but can't gather it, and Down can try and launch an attack of their own, trying to re-establish themselves into the lead as the ball carried through Aoife Laverty. She's been a lot of possession so far, as Natasha Ferris jinks out of a challenge, sends it inside. A chance off the right foot, but that's going to slice all the way right and wide. A third wide and three wides apiece now as we approach 21 minutes gone here in the lovely surrounds of Newcastle West. Biggest threat to the Limerick goal in terms of a green flag so far, that effort that came off the crossbar about 5 or 6 minutes ago. Limerick have yet to really add to that 8-minute point from Amy Ryan, but Cathy Mee is on it here. Gum shield in tow, I'm sure. She gives it back to Grace Lee, and Lee inside to Laura Walsh. Limerick kick, but it's a little bit aimless. Andrea O'Sullivan is not out in front of her marker again. And Down can counter. They're encouraged by one of their selectors who's alongside is in the stand to deliver that ball. But instead, they're going to recycle, and I think that he wants it in early, Dimpner, doesn't he? Because now Limerick have 8-9 players back.
Yeah, and you can see that when they do go at Limerick and they do kick the ball early, Limerick are in trouble. So I'm sure at half-time, when they get them in at half-time, that's what they'll be encouraging. But again, look, they're going to be slaying with a bit of a wind in the second half, so it mightn't be just as easy as that.
Yeah, it's 2 players contesting the ball on the deck, and the referee decides he's going to throw it in. But yeah, I think Downer conscious of Limerick setting up defensively very, very quickly. Certainly their management team here beside us are. Anyone watching the Limerick hurlers last night will have seen that a lack of space was an issue for Galway in the second half, but a lack of space was certainly not an issue in the first half, as Limerick fixed that issue at half time. As Limerick ladies football get back underway here, Deborah Murphy. I tell you, I don't know that the Limerick players wear GPSs, but I'm sure if they did, she would be right up at the top of that. It's a lovely ball through for Iris Kennelly. Kennelly gathers it well. Kennelly off the right foot, sensibly enough, takes the point, and ends a bit of a barren spell for Limerick in front of goal. And Iris Kennelly knocks that one over. Yeah,
great score from Iris. Again, plenty of ability, and if Iris gets on the ball and the Limerick get ball into Iris, herself and Amy are going to cause damage inside.
Ball is, again, Limerick not really contesting the Down kick out, so Down could come out quite easily, get up to halfway in a matter of seconds. But now Limerick look to engage, as Iris Kennelly, following up that point, looks to stop them. But here come Down through Leisha Duffy. Well, what's the ref going to give here? Free out, I think. Yeah. It's one of those rules that it's very, very open to interpretation. The forward is going one way, the back steps in her way, and the referee decides that was a foul by the Down player, and Limerick get on with it. Roisin Ambrose carries, gives it to Cathy Mee. We saw bright sparks from early on, but just a bit quieter in the last few minutes. Iris Kennelly switches it across 2 Limerick players there. One of them is Andrea O'Sullivan. She does well, spills it and then gathers it sensibly. She looks for the runner, and that is Deborah Murphy. Murphy siding through the visiting defence into Amy Ryan. She gathers it. She wants it on her right foot, I think. Amy Ryan, and that one is it going to tail? It is. It's going to go across the face of goal and wide. 4th wide now for Limerick. But again, Amy Ryan, she has the beating of Ciara Byrne. Ciara Byrne is struggling with the pace of Amy Ryan, it's fair to say.
Yeah, but Amy, I suppose she's trying to get onto her right foot all the time. She probably has the pace to get by the player. So again, look, I think she needs to look at that at half time, that if she gets on the ball and she gets by the player, to keep going.
Yeah, as up come Down again, it's Laverty. Real good carrier of the ball. Advantage being played. Advantage just expires now, but Down do hold on to it. Referee says there's a foul in there. The player with the pink boots, that's number 17. That's Maeve McNamara. Protests her innocence, but the referee has awarded the free. You mentioned Amy Ryan on her right foot there. We can't all use both feet like yourself, but yes, but in fairness, it was a little bit obvious there that she was looking to turn onto her right, but didn't catch the shot as she would have liked. She'd happy enough to get the shot away, but didn't get it 100%. As Down have a chance here to tie this one up once again. Natasha Ferris. And Ferris sends it very, very high indeed, and she sends it accurately over the black spot here in Newcastle West. And that's a 4th for Ferris, and 6th in all now for the Ulster side.
Yeah, again, I think Limerick needs to really win this kick out now, and maybe try get in at half time.
Oh dear, well, it's gone straight to the opposition. Down carrying up. There's another free coming. This one's going to be a little bit further out, but Limerick's kick out, they're not really going to plan. I can see a little bit of what they're trying to do, but it is a little bit telegraphed in as well.
Yeah, and I think Down have copped on to what they're trying to do, so they're staying wide, and Limerick are in trouble then, and they're finding it difficult to get the ball out.
Yeah, I think they're allowing Limerick kick it straight up the middle and then trying to congest the spaces. Didn't even need to do much of that there. It was straight to a red and black jersey. As Ferris has another go. That's going to sail though to the left and wide. Probably a case of being so far out that she tried to just force it rather than maybe going through her usual routine which she'd use closer to the goal. Tried to put a lot of distance on it as Limerick finally now a bit of space on the wing, but Laverty is there, but she is beaten to by Laura Walsh. Limerick carrying it. It's Leah Coughlin who gives it to Karen O'Leary. O'Leary, familiar sight of the pink bandana, gives it to Cathy Mee. She doesn't have much support here, but she's a very good carrier of the ball. The gum shield, I think, has come out again. And Mee, no green shirt really anywhere near her until Roisin Ambrose decides to join in from midfield. Ambrose gives it to Karen O'Leary, and she shipped a heavy one there on the way through. Down players on the deck. Iris Kennelly sends it high. No, it's going to go short. Oh, well caught by the goalkeeper. She decides to drink one way and back the other. Does Amy McGivern. As that down player who got injured is back to her feet, thankfully. As Karen O'Leary fixed her boots, as down carry up to the middle, or up to the middle, I should say. And it's Duffy. Very, very impressive so far from Duffy. Does well, cutting inside, heading straight towards that crossbar. Gives it towards Natasha Ferris. Ferris doesn't catch it too well, but we're coming back for a foul on Leisha Duffy. Referee says the arm is pulled.
Yeah, and again, Leisha Duffy is really coming into the game now. She's going at Limerick, and again, the half-back for Limerick is under a little bit of pressure when she does go at him. Yeah,
the number 12 there, as you can see in your screen. She'll be happy with her endeavours so far. Now this one is a very, very tricky free. So they're not going to even shoot, they're going to go back, and it's Orla Duffy now. Duffy back to Laverty. Sends it off the right here. Oh, that's a fine score from the number 17. That's Amy O'Higgins. And
yeah, great score there from Amy O'Higgins. And again, what is it, 6 points to 7, so about a minute left to half time. So it looks like Down will go in a point up.
Yeah, just about a minute or so to go as Limerick go short with the kick out. Of course, anyone that would predominantly watch men's football will be shouting for a free there, because they took the short kick out and went straight back to the goalkeeper, but allowed in the ladies Gaelic games, and the ball kicked short there. That's a great tussle between two players. Karen O'Leary does well though. She gives it into Iris Kennelly. What can Kennelly do? She's well matched for speed there by Amy Green, but Kennelly keeps it and she sends it across to Ambrose. Ambrose skips through a challenge, takes the hop. Too many steps, says the referee. Probably was, in fairness, as again Down are getting on with it quickly, and they elect to just knock it on first time. Can they add to that narrow lead just before the interval? May have an extra minute or so as well. Referee doing a little bit of note taking as the game goes on. Chance now off the right foot, kicks straight, although it doesn't, because it slices and it spins away off the right foot of Niamh Scullion, and it is a fifth wide and all now for the Ulster side. A much more competitive game for Down this week than that lopsided contest against Kilkenny last week. It's going to be a race for possession as Grace Lead as well protects it and then picks it. Her hand pass is a little bit on the dangerous side, but it's gathered, and Leah Coughlin can gather it from Ula, intermediate champions last season. She looks for her clubmate Amy Ryan. Amy Ryan does well. The referee has blown the whistle. I'm not sure what he's giving.
Amy
there
had gone down on the ball and she gave a little toe in there, so yeah, he's pulled him up for kicking while Amy was going down.
Right, yeah, so a down foot had gone in while Amy, and it looked like Amy got it cleanly, so she wasn't impeded too much, but I think in fairness the referee he did kind of hold his hands up and maybe kind of suggested he probably shouldn't have blown so quickly, but nevertheless free for Limerick. And it's Cathy Mee. Saw her from this distance already. Similar result, it would appear. This one though is just going to drop short. Oh, well caught inside there by Andrea Sullivan. Referee is allowing play to continue. Well, there is the half-time whistle. Andrea Sullivan upending a down player right at the end of the half, and the down player is just holding her, I think, her jaw inside there. Well, that is the last action of the first half, as Down hold the slenderest of advantage, 7 points to 6. The referee inside with one of the Down selectors pleading their case there, and just a little bit tetchy way to end the half, but hopefully the Down player, I just can't see exactly who it is. She's back to her feet. Oh, indeed, it is the centre back, the captain, Megan Doherty. Thankfully, she's back to her feet and just gathering her breath there, as the referee looks like he's going to book one of the Down backroom team. But Dimpna, we'll move away from that incident as we speak. The youngsters from the 4 clubs around Limerick are going to enter the field here. But from the action we saw in the 30 or so minutes, Down maybe probably just about deserving their 1 point lead. Yeah,
and again Limerick will be disappointed to go in a point down at half time. Again, they thundered into it. The first 10 minutes looked by far the better team, but again, look, Down are getting into it, and again they're going a point up at half time, and I think they'll be happy going in a point up at half time and probably improving as the game went on. But again, look, on the positive, Limerick seem to be playing with the wind in this half and the second half, and I'm sure they'll get plenty quick ball into Amy, who has caused a lot of trouble for the Down defence in the first half. But again, look, Down seem to be coping well enough with that. They're getting their numbers back. They seem to have 2 free players, whereas Limerick have 2 free players in their backline. So again, look, I'm sure they'll be happy to get in at half time together and regroup again, and I suppose sit down and see where they can improve.
Perfect. We'll take a short break here in our commentary position. We suggest you do the same, but don't go too far. We'll have the second half coming up very, very shortly. As the free taken. And that's You're very welcome back to Newcastle West for this TG4 LGFA Group A of the Junior Championship. As the rain starts to come down here. Down with the slenderest of advantages at half time. We were treated to some fine entertainment from 4 clubs, under 8s and under 10s too from each from Limerick. Some fantastic skills on show, and great to see their parents here in support this afternoon. The sides just emerging from the dressing rooms over to our right hand side. We're not looking like we've too many changes, or indeed any, for either side. We'll see now what way things change in the next couple of minutes. But Dimna, we were just saying there at halftime how tight this game is. It's really there for either side to I suppose to take it and win the group, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think so. And I suppose it's down to either the team to see who wants it more. Again, I suppose, look, Limerick are playing with a slight advantage of the wind in this half. But again, I suppose it's who's more hungry for this and who wants to avoid, I suppose, playing for Manana. But I'm sure either of the two teams will want to do that. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting second half.
Yeah, 30 minutes or so to decide who goes through as group winners and who will have the, I suppose, runners-up prize of facing Fermanagh. Limerick lost to Fermanagh in a league semi-final, and they've already lost to them in 2020 in All-Ireland semi-final. So they will know all about Emer Smith and co from that part of Ulster as Limerick get onto it here. Ball sent up. Karen O'Leary. It's going to be a little bit slipperier feel in the second half. Not much rain, but just enough to make the ball skid off a fine surface here in Newcastle West. Ball kicked inside as Orla Boyle is going to win that race, and she's won plenty of the races in front of Andrea Sullivan so far this afternoon. Disappointing thus far for Andrea, but we know what she can do in front of goal as Down carry it up and they bring it across. Orla Boyle has continued her run, but she's not going to get it. There's a slap on the hand there for the Limerick defender, and a chance for Down to try and create an opening from here. Long way from her position is Orla Boyle, and she just decides to play sideways football and kicks it back out to that right wing. The healthy spectators, number of spectators here in the stand, and you see a few of them out on the far side with their umbrellas up. Referee puts out the arm and he's going to give a free in for Down here. In fairness, I thought the Limerick player got in with the open fist and the open palm and just palmed the ball, but the referee says that it was too much force in it, and it's Maeve McNamara who is the guilty party. It's such a difficult thing, the tackle in football, isn't it? And I think she's felt foul of that there, because it looked like a very genuine attempt. It looked to be all on the ball, but referee says that she was illegal in doing so. Yeah,
it's you know, you'd be as well off just to standing tall, I suppose, and let her run at you than trying to take the ball off you. More times than not, they will call a free against you.
As Down kick another wide, Natasha Ferris off target with that free. Maybe just not able to judge the breeze down that end so far, as Limerick look to escape the clutches. We can feel the breeze coming into the stand here, so it seems to have picked up even more. It's Karen O'Leary. Hand passes straight to a red and black jersey. Disappointing effort from her, so uncharacteristic of her. As Down look to come away. Limerick haven't scored since the 24th minute through Iris Kennelly. Before that, they had points from Amy Ryan and Kathy Mee, and the goal, of course, also from Ula's Amy Ryan. Aoife Keown knocks it over to that far side. Leisha Duffy, her numbers are quite good. What can she do from here? She's shepherded by one of the Lee sisters, that's Yvonne. Yvonne does well, but ball comes back now to Aoife Laverty. Referee is going to give a free in here. Again, ball dislodged, but illegally so. In from behind came Alva Quaid. And a chance now. Down are going to need to start taking these chances, because Limerick are in a bit of a slumber, but if they do wake up, you feel Limerick can come down here and kick some scores, but Down maybe need to start knocking over some of these frees. Yeah,
they need to be getting these again. Look, they're playing against a slight wind, and look, they're not going to get the chances that they got in the first half in front of goal, so they need to be popping these scores over, and they need to be attacking fast if they're going to get on top of Limerick. But look, there's a chance here. It's a little bit out. To be honest, I think she'll probably go short. If it was me that was stepping up, that I'll definitely be looking to go short and getting it into a more scoreable position.
Yeah, Natasha Ferris receives a bit of treatment, and now she's going to line this one up. Goes through her routine, steals a few metres and sends it into the back of the net. It's gone straight through the gloves of Carol Bateman. And Natasha Ferris, well, I'm sure she was going for a point, but she gets the goal, and that really turns this game on its head, because you feel now 4-point advantage for Down is a considerable one.
Yeah, it's considerable, but again, look, Limerick have scoring forward, and if they get ball into Amy and Iris inside, they'll do damage. But again, look, 4 points down, they're going to have to claw back and tip away with the points, I suppose, and take the goals if they come. But a great goal, I suppose. I think she was probably going for a point more than a goal, and Carol a bit disappointed with that.
Yeah, it just went through the hands of the Limerick goalkeeper. Disappointing for her, but ecstasy for Natasha Ferris and indeed manager Cueva Sloan and the rest of the backroom team. They've wanted the first score of the second half. Well, they've got it in the form of a green flag as Alva Quaid, who gave away that free, looks to get Limerick on the front foot. Karen O'Leary out towards that right corner, has to come back, jinking inside. Referee puts out his arm and Limerick are going to have a free. It's a tricky angle. I don't think Limerick have a left-footed free taker really, so Cathy Mee is going to have to go over.
Yeah, and I think this is within Cathy's range, so again, a bit tricky, but well within her range. And I'd back, if I was a betting woman, I'd put money on Cathy to slot this over.
Vote of confidence from the commentary box here as Mee sizes this one up, looks at the post, lobs it. That's dangerous, and there's a square ball in there immediately called against Amy Ryan. It was a dangerous one though, and Down's goal lives a bit of a charmed life for now anyway. They've had a couple of dropping balls either side of half time that they've dealt with some bit decently. 1-7 to 1-3 in favour of the visitors as they look to add to that now. You'd wonder what Limerick would spring from the bench. They have a considerable arsenal amongst it. What can they do in the next few minutes to change this game and try and get some control of this as Grace Lee forages for it. It's now in the hands of Laura Walsh, and there's another free in coming there, and I think the frustration of the home support and indeed the home management and team is going to grow. Another chance for Down to add to their lead.
And I think Limerick are a bit too physical in the tackle there, and they're giving away a freeze.
And he's actually bringing this in for a little bit of descent as well. Has made it infinitely more scoreable. It's makes it much easier now for Natasha Ferris. A goal and 4 to her name. Make that a goal and 5. And that's, let me just see, 1-3 without reply for Down. What do Limerick have up their sleeve now to get out of this situation? The whistle goes, so players move. Ball launched out towards this side. It breaks nicely for Lauren Ryan. Ryan, though, poor execution of the hand pass, and Down will have the line ball. And they kick it inside. Down playing with a little bit of tempo, higher tempo, I should say, at the start of the second half as Orla Duffy, she carries and sends it offside to Leisha Duffy. As the Limerick player ends up on the deck. I'm really not sure what way this is going. It's going in favour of Down. There's real frustration now starting to grow in the Limerick ranks as Down look to capitalise on that and put this game to bed. Inside to Ferris. Ferris off the right. Where's that going? And it's gone over the bar from Natasha Ferris.
Yeah, great point there from Natasha. And again, she puts her tally to 1/6. And again, it's probably causing Limerick a bit of a concern inside in the full back line.
Yeah, Limerick, if you look at it, half an hour of play, just 1 point to show for it. That from Iris Kennelly in the 24 minutes. So the famine is well and truly on here. 14 minutes now without a score. And as I say, half an hour with just 1 point to show for their efforts. The management team preparing a couple of players on the far side, but no sign of change just yet. Down really trying to put this game to bed. 6 points, a considerable advantage. And they can slow the pace here now and play it on their own terms as Aoife Keown gets a hold of it. She switches across to Niamh Scullion. We've seen little of Scullion so far. Had one effort off target in the first half. Oh, this is a great carry by her. And again, Down with overlaps and players in free positions as Scullion gets it again. It's back to Laverty. And Laverty will switch. Limerick not playing with the intensity they should have at this level. Skips through a couple of challenges there. Oh, that's good work by Deborah Murphy. Deborah Murphy kicks the ball in open play, and again Down though have come up with it. They're looking to add another score. Roisin Ambrose gets it on the break there. Limerick looking to break. Iris Kennelly is going to gather it now. Kennelly, she's going to put on the racing shoes. Here she goes. Iris Kennelly through on the 45. Who has she? Cathy Mees off her shoulder. Iris Kennelly slows up off the left. Iris Kennelly, that's much needed for Limerick. Iris Kennelly ends a bit of a drought in front of goal. And that's what she's all about. Dimpna, that's a great score. Even though she had Cathy Mead there, she backed herself to kick the score, and a well-taken effort. Yeah,
great point by Iris. And again, Iris is looking off that both feet, so left or right. If she gets half a chance, she will get scores.
Yeah, we were delayed slightly for a brief injury interlude, but we're back underway. And the referee halts this one as Grace Lee ends up on the deck. I think he's called it an accidental collision.
Looks like a free to Limerick.
Yeah, just consulting with his linesman. Good to see consultation between the officials. And yeah, it looks like a free for Limerick, and Karen O'Leary gets on with it. Referee didn't even blow the whistle. Right out to that corner. Going to make it tricky from there to work something. Amy Ryan, shepherded by two down players, does well to give it back to Cathy Mee. And Mee just trying to find some green grass. Limerick still have it. Karen O'Leary again going down a bit of a darkened alley as she finds Cathy Mee. She comes out of there. Iris Kennelly, she had one with the left, now one with the right. Iris Kennelly is going to try and single-handedly kick Limerick back into this one.
A great score again by Iris, and as I said, look, get Iris on the ball and she'll come up with scores. But again, I think Limerick are getting back into it now. They were a bit all over the place there for a while, but they're slowly trying to get back into it.
Yeah, can they contest the kick out? They can. Roisin Ambrose lets it hit the deck, gathers it. Oh, it's hand pass just not on the same wavelength as Andrea O'Sullivan, but better from the home side, as referee had the whistle almost to the lips, but he decides to let it go. Grace Lee has recovered from her injury, kicks it inside towards Amy Ryan, but I think the sideline is going to beat her to the ball. Indeed it does. Just Limerick trying to build a little bit of momentum. Down, go back to centre back and captain Megan Doherty, and she finds goalkeeper Eamon McGivern. A couple of vital catches underneath her crossbar in that opening half from McGivern. A number from the Taconics club in County Down as they carry it out through Scullion. Still no sign of movement on either bench. Maybe Down happy with their lead, thinking everything's rosy, and Limerick a little bit happy with Iris Kennelly's couple of quick fire points. But Down looking to put some more daylight between the sides. Jinking in, jink across the way. Referee says the ball was dislodged fairly. That was a big moment for Limerick, as Yvonne Lee, in fact, it's Alva Quaid now. She catters it up. Quaid gives it to her team captain, Ambrose. That's great pace. Jewel Star, once upon a time, she sends it in. There's a chance, there's advantage coming. That's going to go short. Keeper's going to catch it. Disappointing effort from Iris Kennelly on that occasion, but she had done enough to win herself a free. And another chance for Limerick to just chip away at that Down advantage.
Another great run by Iris. Again, when Limerick go through, they're looking for Iris to come off the shoulder, and if she's getting on ball, and again, look, she's just got 2 points. and just got this free for Limerick.
Yeah, good stuff from her. 3 in all, 2 in the second half, and she passes it over to Cathy Mee. Hasn't scored a free yet, so all 1-5 from Limerick has come from play. They're looking to change that here. As Mee on the edge of the D doesn't get the accuracy on it and sends it to the left and wide. Limerick's first wide of this second half. We're now quarter of the way through, a quarter of an hour I should say, through the second half. 15 minutes left on the clock. And of course McGivern naturally in no great rush. The whistle goes, takes a solo, and now puts everything behind that. As Deborah Murphy is in amongst it. Referee gives the free. And then another bit of descent from Murphy, and Down can bring it forward just inside the 65. Frustration, I think, from Murphy. Had a hand in the tackle, felt her hand was in fact pulled into the tackle by the Down player. As Down, again, as so often has been the case this afternoon, goes short with the free and backwards if they have to, and then try and work it from there, as Laverty with advantage keeps the play moving, sends it out to Orla Duffy. Down using the right hand channel like they did a lot in the first half, gives it to Vivian McCormack. She's one of their top scorers, and I wonder, is Grace Lee going to be in trouble here in terms of the production of the first card of this afternoon? Referee's having a good think about it. Could be 10 minutes in the bin.
Yeah, I think she's going to avoid the yellow card, but again, if Yvonne goes, she'll be a big loss. She's a good physical player for Limerick, and you know, you don't get much from Yvonne. I know that from playing against her.
Apologies, I'm mixing
It's
up
Grace.
the sisters here. It is Grace that was the guilty party. We're doing a disservice to Yvonne, but Yvonne has been solid at full back, it's fair to say. So we have some subs coming through. No, just players going for water. Yeah, looks like Andrea Sullivan has made way, and indeed she's been replaced now by Caoimhe McGrath. So opposite ends of the counties, Father Casey's Caoimhe McGrath comes in with Andrea Sullivan making way.
And Grace has actually got a yellow card, so look, she's going to be a big loss for Limerick there in the half back line.
So they're going to have to play 10 of the remaining 13 or so minutes a player light, so that's significant to say. It's fair to say. Can Down capitalise on that foul by knocking over another point? Natasha Ferris saw one drop into the net. She goes short. She's going to be available for the return. She's going to get it. Natasha Ferris. Where she put it? She's put it wide. Didn't really catch it well. She just, I think, rushed the effort, but it was a well-worked move. Of course, as Down make a sub on the far side. Looks like they've changed one of the players. Yeah, 26 has made way. That's Orla Swale. And number 13, who didn't start, that's Emma Fitzpatrick. She comes in. So Emma Fitzpatrick will be eager to prove her worth as to why she should have started this contest. Down with a chance here now, looking to try and kill off the Limerick challenge. Comes back to Vivian McCormack. That's the referee down. He's given a free out. He said the ball was thrown, I think. Sigh of relief for the home support. Ball breaks now off Karen O'Leary, but there's a Down jersey right alongside her. And again, Down coming through a spell of dominance, you feel. A player up now for the next 8 or 9 minutes. And that's sent in. Oh, it's a fine score.
A fine score, and I think that was from Emer Fitzpatrick, who's just come onto the field. So I suppose she's a point to prove why she didn't start, but a super score.
Yeah, another sub now on the downside. We'll just see who makes way, if anyone. They're going to try and continue with 16. Well, it's number 17 that makes way, Amy O'Higgins. And in her place is number 15 now, that's Niamh King. So another player who didn't start, trying to give it a good last 10 or 12 minutes or so. This ball switched out to Cathy Mee. The experienced player comes looking for it and gets it. Sends it forward to Laura Walsh. And there is a foul there. The down bench thought they'd force the turnover, but indeed they were guilty in committing a foul. Again, Down reading the flight of the Limerick Freeze, just a little bit slow and ponderous from Limerick at times. And it's allowing Down take the impetus of this. Niamh King. Good tackle in there by Lauren Ryan. King gets it though again, and she is judged to have been fouled. And once again, the Westmeath official is quick to blow the whistle.
Down seem to be getting on top here now. I think, look, Limerick seem to be, I suppose, panicking a little bit. I think they need to, I suppose, just get their structure back in place and try to, I suppose, thunder back into this game.
Yeah, it's a 5-point lead. It's still a 2-score game, really. That's the way they need to look at it. As Down coming through the middle, looking to try and kill it off the right foot of Natasha Ferris. Another one for her, this time set up by Vivian McCormack. And Ferris adds to that Down lead. Still a 2-score game, but 6 points, you feel. That's what Down wanted at half-time, just to kick further and further clear. Limerick still playing a player light. They really need something to ignite their challenge in this one. And the referee says there's a bit of holding going on ahead of the play. All the way inside, I think it was Amy Ryan was being held. I'm sure there was a bit of a word at half-time on the fact that Amy Ryan had got so much free space. The only way to stop her getting a bit of free space maybe for Ciara Byrne was to just grab a hold of her jersey. But the referee, I think in communication with his umpires, they decide that there's a foul, and the ball is knocked over the bar by Caoimhe McGrath.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that Caoimhe took that free, and I suppose Cathy has missed the last 2 or 3 of the frees that she's taken, but look, at least, you know, they have her taken off the frees now and put Caoimhe on it, so there was a good score for Caoimhe.
Yeah, Limerick win the kick out. And now another chance, but the shot is going to go wide. There's a free coming for Limerick. And quickly they can get 2 points and try and get a bit of momentum. And again, try and, on the assumption she scores this, there'll obviously be a kick out. Try and force the turnover and the kick out. Try and eke their way back into the game.
Yeah, there's nothing in it, and they have plenty of ability inside the full forward line to claw this back. Again, they seem to have gone away from quick ball into the full forward line, which was working very well for them in the first half. Look,
they've got the free right, so you make a fair point, though. Amy Ryan has not been seen too often in the second half. It was a good kick passing that served her so well early in the contest. Got that quick fire 1-1, but I suppose short of service since then. Limerick moving up the scoreboard to 1-7, back to 4, but Down escape with the kick out. Down relegated last season, so they're looking to bounce back at the very first opportunity, get back up to that second tier, that intermediate grade, as they send it inside to Leisha Duffy. Duffy slowing it up, just takes the solo and then hand passes it inside. Do Limerick have the numbers there? They do. The referee says, though, there was a foul on the pick-up. I think a Down player went down to pick it, and Limerick player may have just kicked it away from her. And a chance now for Natasha Ferris. A long, long way from goal. As the Down selectors here make a switch in front of us, they're going to send Amy Green back to mark Amy Ryan. As is now a sub for Limerick. Well, in fact, she won't be marking Amy Ryan because she's making way. So Amy Ryan is out, and in comes Roisin Breedy from Galtee Gales. But that's probably a symptom of Amy not getting enough service, that they feel the need to take her off. But it's a two-way street, I suppose. You want, if you're a forward, you want service. You don't get service, sometimes you may be taken off.
Yeah, that's an interesting one from Graham. Again, look, Amy had a super first half, a bit starved for possession in the second half, didn't get the ball in as quick as they did. So that's really interesting. I do see Karen over. I'm not sure, did she get a sin bin? But Karen O'Leary is sitting over alongside Grace. So I'm not sure if there was a sin bin there for Deborah.
Looks like there may be, yeah. But Cathy Mee has made way. Benitez will try and confirm about the sin bin in a second as the ball is knocked over the bar. And let me just have a look here. Lauren Ryan has made way for Limerick. In comes, as I said, Roisin Breedy, and Leisha Brown from Ballylanders has also come in. And Chloe Brosnahan of Father Casey's has come in as well. It's all happening here. No, indeed, Limerick still do have 14 on the field, so there was no yellow to her as Roisin Ambrose gathers it up. Limerick, you could feel, probably need a goal from here. Ambrose just spills it at the crucial moment, but gathers it again, sends it back to Deborah Murphy. Murphy going to go for a point, and Murphy, off the post and to the right and wide. It's just what Limerick didn't need. 5 down, they needed to try and get a couple of those scores back. Another sub incoming for down as the impressive Leisha Duffy makes way. In comes Clara Mulvina. So Clara will get the last couple of minutes of this one. With about 3 minutes left, Limerick are going to go back up to 15 in the next minute or so. Probably the next time the ball goes dead. Down looking to shore this up. A couple of minutes of good possession will probably do that. Ball sent inside expertly. And up coming off the shoulder is the full forward. That, of course, Natasha Ferris, but this time her effort just curls to the left hand side and wide. Limerick desperate, I'm sure, to get back up to 15 and try and make a little bit of a late comeback. Ball sent out now to Lauren Ryan. Ryan will carry up to the opposition 65. Gives it to the corner forward. That's Leah Coughlin. Coughlin short of options. Takes a lot of steps there, but does enough to give it back to Roisin Ambrose. Bit ponderous from Limerick. Down now, flooding the bodies back with 13 players now behind the ball for them. Makes it very, very tricky for Limerick to try and work a second goal of this contest. Lauren Ryan again, involved a couple of times now, gives it across, but well read there by the captain Megan Doherty. And Down can come surging out with it. They've looked the sharper in the second half, I think there's no doubt about that, but again, just as I say that, Limerick come up with it. Roisin Ambrose, is it time to kick direct in? She decides that's going to be the case, and we're going to come back for the free. There's a foul on, I think it was on Roisin Ambrose. Limerick need to hurry it on because the clock is not their friend. They're back up to 15 now as Grace Lee comes in. A player who was sin binned in last year's Limerick Senior Club final as well. But on that occasion she was on the victorious side, so she won't be too disappointed with that. But she's back in here now as Limerick look to cut this 5-point gap and set up a grandstand finish. Karen O'Leary switching across to Iris Kennelly. Is there more magic from Kennelly? What about that for a solo? 2 players on her, kept hold of it. Back to Roisin Ambrose. Limerick short of penetration through the lines. Ball sent inside. Oh, there's a tangling of bodies there, completely accidental, it must be said. 2 players, fair game for the ball, and the referee, wisely enough I think, calls upon the physios to come in and have a look. But we're 60 seconds or so left. Looks like Down are going to top this group. 5 points to the good. Do you think they've deserved this, Dipna?
Yeah, they probably have paid the best in the second half. Again, the game last weekend didn't stand them too well. but I think it took them a while before they came to grips with it. But again, look, this Down team have just been regulated last year from intermediate, so look, I think they probably have the experience of being up in that division, and it probably has showed today in the second half. Limerick, I think, lost their structure a little bit and didn't go direct as much as direct as they did in the first half, where Amy and Catty and Karen were causing problems.
Yeah, Emily Martin from Byrne has replaced Aoife Laverty on the downside, so a couple of minutes for Emily Martin. Another foul from Limerick. I think it's Grace Lee again. Into stoppage time now. As Down playing it exactly where they want it, Down in the Limerick half. Advantage coming. There's a chance now. We're going to come back for the free. The foul was on Vivian McCormack, just inside the D. And again, the referee decides he doesn't like what he hears from the Limerick team. And we're coming in. He's going to bring it in, yeah. It's going to make this almost a certainty for a player like as good as Natasha Ferris. I think the ghost has gone out of this Limerick challenge, but in fairness to Down, it's going to be 3 wins on the bounce. 2 defeats last season saw them relegated, and Natasha Ferris knocks it over. Another one for her, and a goal in 13. 6 to the good. As Grace Lee makes way in, she is subbed off. On comes Fiona Bradshaw. So what can the goalkeeper do from here? Switches it out to the left wing. Again, Limerick's kickouts have been problematic, and it's not always the goalkeeper, of course, who needs options in front of her. They've had difficulty as Deborah Murphy receives a very heavy hit there, high as well. Thankfully, she's okay to continue. But I suppose for Limerick, disappointing that they're going to lose. But in fairness to them, the heavy lifting done in wins over Kilkenny and Sligo, because obviously that guarantees them knockout football. That would have been the target for Graham. Obviously, you'd like to win all 3 games, but getting through was obviously the first aim when you're especially when you're playing 2 sides who were previously intermediate. Yeah,
it's probably hard to come in today knowing you have already qualified. But again, look, I suppose they got a good test today against Down, and it'll give Graham, I suppose, stuff to work on for the next few weeks. But again, look, it's great to see so many people on the bench for Limerick, and he is giving them all game time, which can only stand to them. But again, look, they will be probably disappointed not getting the win today. They do have a lot of work put in. They have a good team, and I'm sure over the coming weeks they'll have a lot to work on, and they'll come out fighting for the semi-final.
Absolutely, yeah. For Manna, a wait as the free is knocked over. She's a little bit unorthodox, I must say, in her free taking, but she most definitely is accurate as Caoimhe McGrath. That's her 3rd since being introduced, so a positive there, no doubt. Limerick move up to a goal and 8. Just failed to really build on Amy Ryan's goal after 7 or so minutes, and Down have just tacked on point after point, mainly from frees, and then that goal from Natasha Ferris putting a bit of daylight between the sides that Limerick were never able to recover from. Frustration for Graham Shine over there. The Kerry man will hope that his side will learn a lot of lessons from this ahead of a meeting with Fermanagh. They played in the 2020 decider. I was at it. There was nobody allowed go to it, really. We were up reporting on that one. They just had a disastrous first quarter in that one. A lot of the players, of course, have changed on both sides, I'm sure, since. Fermanagh beaten in last year's decider after a replay by Antrim, so they are going to want to climb those steps in Croke Park in a couple of weeks' time, but first they'll have to negotiate Limerick in the semi-final, as ball is knocked out of play. Not sure we're getting all this time. We're 4.5 minutes over by my clock, so I think both sides now will be happy enough to hear the final whistle. As Down go backwards. There it is indeed. There is the final whistle, and it's Down who are winners of Group A. A 113-18 scoreline. Deserving winners here in Newcastle West. Limerick will have to make do with the runners-up prize and indeed second place in the group. They'll face Fermanagh. It is going to be Carlow or London for Down in the semi-finals, as who could rule out these sides meeting again in Croke Park in a couple of weeks' time. But for now, it is Down who have the bragging rights and progress. Just to sum it up, I suppose Limerick didn't really build on a bright start. Down, I think, we're probably that bit more consistent over the course of the hour or so. Maybe just played at the same, I suppose, intensity the whole way through. Limerick were playing in spurts, and that didn't serve them too well. But in fairness, Down deserving of the win here this afternoon. Yeah,
I think they're deserving of the win. Again, Limerick will be disappointed. They got off such a good start. Got quick ball in, were 4 or 5 points up without a reply. But again, look, I think half time get it a good time from Down and allowed them to get it into the changing room, and I suppose put a few changes in place which served them really well in the second half. Again, I can't understand why Limerick went back to hand passing and carrying the ball so much when quick ball in the first half. They got goals, they got points, and they had serious threats inside. Again, I think Catty probably had to come back too deep in the first half, probably ran out of a bit of steam, and probably didn't play to her full potential today. But again, look, this Limerick team is a good team. They'll be back. They'll work on, I suppose, a few things that they have to, and where they fell down today over the next couple of weeks. And I'm sure if these sides meet again in the coming weeks, Limerick won't be afraid.
Absolutely not. Well, we must thank you for watching this afternoon. I've been Tom Clancy, she's been Dimna O'Brien. We've really enjoyed this afternoon's contest. It is Down who have won out on a scoreline of Down 113, Limerick 18.